Good day, good evening. I'm not sure what time this video will get posted. It may get posted tomorrow morning. It may get posted tomorrow night. I don't know. I just wanted to do a quick video for tomorrow. I will most likely do another video to basically address what occurred tomorrow. But what I wanted to talk about in this particular video, and it may cost me. The reason why it may cost me is because I'm going to talk about something that not that I'm not keeping it a secret. I haven't really kept it a secret, but I wanted to tell you more. I wanted to dive deeper is what I wanted to do. As a lot of you who are my viewers know, I am very interested in my my heritage. And seeing that behind me should help you understand where my heritage is. Even though a lot of different cultures claim this for their own, it is a very cultural type thing. It is not only Norse. I am finding out that it's not just a Nordic or Norse symbol, because a lot of the Norse people will claim it as Odin's compass. But it's also, I found out that some of the symbols within this tapestry behind me has also been claimed as mathematical symbols from the Arabic nations, an old symbol or some sort of something to do with a lot of different ancient cultures. Now, I claim it, and a lot of people I know will also claim it for Norse mythology. I'm digging more and more into it, and it's kind of a cross-cultural thing. Now, whether it started with the Norsemen or started with the Arabic nations, I'm not sure. I haven't gotten to that part of the histories. But I do know, and it has been historically founded, that the Norsemen did find their way down through down to the Mediterranean Sea and across the Mediterranean Sea into what was then known as Istanbul. Istanbul, during the latter half of, Istanbul, for a very long time, and probably still is, a trade hub. A lot of different cultures that lived around or came through the Mediterranean Sea would go into Istanbul from all walks of life to trade wares of one form or another. Now, during the mid to latter part of the Nordic, I don't know if you want to call it the Norse Age or the Dark Ages or however you want to put it, but it is highly believed, and it's been found in a lot of different cultures, the Norsemen did make it into Istanbul. Not as conquerors, not as raiders, but as traders. Because by the time they got into Istanbul, they had already conquered or taken control of a large chunk of Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Atlantic seaboard, all the way over to Iceland and even into like Newfoundland, as well as far west as the Baltics and as far southeast, going the wrong direction, southeast into the Baltics and southeast into the Mediterranean, into Istanbul. Now, for the most part, the Norsemen, not Vikings, the Viking is a verb. It's basically translated into pirate. The Viking raiders were those who went out and conquered northern England, Scotland, Ireland, Iceland. They were a combination of explorers and raiders. But for the most part, the Norsemen were farmers, skilled craftsmen, hunters, gatherers, tradespeople. The Norsemen, as a whole culture, were very skilled people at various things. Now, by the time the Norsemen got into the Mediterranean and whatnot, the whole of Europe knew these barbarians, as they called them. The Roman Empire knew these barbarians because, in fact, when they got far enough up into what is now Germany, near the Germanic area of where the Norsemen lived, that's when they ran into trouble. The Romans hit the area, but the area was so harsh and the people were so hardy and bold and fearless and fierce that the Romans went, whoa, we're not going to be able to conquer these people. And it was a Germanic Norse ruler or leader, king, however you want to put it. They gathered up the surviving tribes of the Germanic territories and went, we're pushing back. And they pushed all the way back into Rome itself, right on the doorstep of the Roman Empire, the capital of the Roman Empire, Rome itself. And yeah, their story went viral for those days, however you want to call it, viral. But yeah, the Roman Empire went, whoa, we're sorry for trying to basically annihilate you and take over your territory. What can we do to rectify the situation? And the leader went, everything in your treasury and then some. So Rome nearly went bankrupt from them. I know I've said that before. But by the time things settled down and the Nordic people, even the Germanic people who were part of the Norse Empire, said, you know what, we're tired of we're tired of conflict, we're tired of fighting you and then you fighting us, and we're just going back and forth. There's no gain, more loss than gain, except for whatever we steal from you. We're going to switch gears and become tradesmen. We're going to sell you our wares, we're going to sell you our crafts, and we're going to barter for what we want from you, particularly precious metals and certain types of wood. And yeah, there was a Norse settlement in the UK, in the northern part of the UK. There are Norse settlements up and down the European coastline because, for the most part, that's where they wanted to be, the coastline. They went inland far enough to get wood, have land for farming, hunting, that kind of stuff. But one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about the Norsemen was when they started reaching as far south as the Eurasian borderline, particularly in Arabian-controlled territories, the Arabian people, who were small compared to these giant men, I mean, the average Norseman at the time was anywhere between 5'5" and 6'2", while the average person for the rest of the world was barely 5'1", maybe 5'2", on the tallest of Edward Longshanks during William Wallace's time, when England and Scotland were fighting each other for Scotland's freedom and whatnot. Longshanks was considered one of the tallest people in the known European territories outside of the Norsemen. He was 5'5", 5'6", I think it was, according to historical information. I don't remember. But anyhow, you can understand why a lot of people feared the Norsemen, because it was like, that's not a man, that's a bear. That's how they felt back then. And what made it even more apparent or what made a lot of people think they were bears at first, was because the fact that bear skin was like really warm, so that's something they wore a lot to keep themselves warm. They adorned themselves with the bear claws for necklaces, and they wore the bear skull with the teeth still on it on their heads, not only just to make people fear them, but because it kept them warm. So I'm not wearing this to scare you, I'm wearing this because I want to stay warm. But by the time they got down to Arabian territory, they were like, wow, they don't look like they're going to kill us, but dude, this guy's tall, that kind of thing. And a lot of the times, because some of the Norsemen were still fighters, I mean, the Nordic people weren't just designed to be hardy people because of the cold north, but they were also built for battle. They were basically, even though they settled down and they weren't always seeking conflict, they were hired by a lot of the Arabian Empire to be guards over treasures or their daughters or important things that they considered important. In fact, there was a story, don't know how true it is, but the story goes that an Arabian sultan or whatever you want to call their kings, leaders, whatever, had hired a small band of Norsemen to take a caravan and guard this caravan going along the Silk Road into China for sale, to trade. And the thing is to go from where they were to China, there's a lot of nomads, marauders, Mongols, various different groups that did not like people going through their territory, let alone like, oh, that's a group of people taking riches into our enemy. Let's steal what we can, kill whoever we can, and be gone. Well, the story goes is this small group of Norsemen who paid handsomely, your first mercenary basically, went with this caravan, and a group of raiders tried to attack the caravan, and they stopped short. Why? Because the Norsemen, as soon as they saw the horses charging, jumped up, did their shield wall, spears out, and this has never happened. What's a shield wall? They didn't know what a shield wall was. They didn't know what a shield was, period. They were used to bow, arrow, and, weapons of one form or another, not shields, because shields are kind of bulky and hard to carry on horseback and ride off quickly. So this caravan was protected by the Norsemen because they jumped up, did their shield wall, was fully prepared for battle. And these guys come charging, screaming. Well, a lot of raiders do various screams because it's supposed to put fear into the hearts of their target. Norsemen are known for being fearless. So what the Norsemen do? Screamed right back at them. Loud and hearty. Pitched battle. Nothing happened to the caravan. Some injuries to the Norsemen, but the raiders basically limped away with nothing. Now, I'm proud of my Norse heritage, not just because of their prowess in battle or the stories of how fearless they are, but because of the fact that, one, they explored a good chunk of the world before Marco Polo or Christopher Columbus or any of the other famous explorers. Why in world history the Norsemen aren't praised for their exploratory abilities or the fact that they built boats that can handle rough seas before anybody else could handle a rough sea on a boat. In fact, there's history in Iceland where Christopher Columbus himself spent a winter in Iceland to learn from the Norsemen and their boats and their designs and how to build a boat that can sail across rough waters. That's how he got his knowledge on building these boats to go across the Atlantic Ocean to find the West Indies, basically, or South America, the Caribbean islands, somewhere around those areas. Well, there was already established connections in Newfoundland by the Norsemen themselves. Nobody says anything in our modern day history about that. Very few people even know who Leif Erikson was or what he did. Most people know the Norsemen by their barbaric raids and their Viking or pirate activities. We're just learning what kind of people they were, what they farmed, what they did for a living. I mean, it's only been 20 years since they realized the Norsemen were here first. And one of the things I will discuss real quick is there's a misconception about the Norsemen, about Vikings. One, and I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm not saying, I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm not saying this to try to make it sound like I don't still have my roots in Christianity. But one, Norsemen follow Odin. Odin is the all father. He was basically like, and I don't want to sound like I'm comparing the two, but like I believe Christians should be. The idea of Odin is basically all are accepted. Don't matter what your skin color is, your background, your who you were or who you are. I believe Christians should be the same way. I believe Christians should accept everybody for whom they are. I mean, the Bible doesn't say anything against accepting another person because of their skin tone or where they're from or what their political or sexual or any of those things are. God don't care about that. God cares about the heart, the soul, the spirit of the person, how that person lived. Was that person accepting? Was that person loving? Or was that person generous? Was that person following what my son Jesus taught his disciples? Jesus was known for spending his lunch with the lowest of the low in his area and his period, in his historical period. And the lowest of low back then was tax collector was lower than a prostitute. He spent time with tax collectors. He spent time with murderers, thieves, prostitutes, beggars, blind men, lame, old, young. It didn't matter to him where you stood in society, because society is not important in religion of any sort. Norsemen were basically the same way. They accepted everybody. They kidnapped a lot of people. Basically, Norsemen were like, if you're not attacking us, we're not going to attack you. We might come and steal from you, but if you let us steal it from you, we're not going to do you any physical harm. Now I know the History Channel has the series and it's ending. I have barely gotten to season 2, but the History Channel tried to take as much of the history from the sagas and various writings of the Norsemen to create this series. Now, the one thing I don't agree with the series is the fact of that just going in and blatantly killing people. I don't really think the Norsemen did that. Yes, they did do their raids and whatnot, and pretty much those who got killed during the raids were either in their way or attacking them. Now, I also understand that there could be a lot of difficulties because of linguistics and not understanding each other. And yes, there is a few people in every group. It don't matter who you are, whether you're Norse, Saxon, Arabian, Egyptian. It didn't matter who you were back then. It don't even matter who you are now. We still, and they did back then, we still do stuff that is just blatantly like, really? Where's your common sense? Where's your dignity? Why are you doing harm to a person who's trying not to do harm to you? Why are you bashing people, whether it's physically or verbally, just because of differences? I look at a lot of things going on right now here in America because of the differences, or one group is trying to force another group to see it their way. There's a lot of bashing. Whether it's bashing the candidates for presidency, whether it's bashing people for their candidate, whether it's the whole ordeal with the unrest between all the different groups. And I know some of them are trying to be as peaceful as possible, like a lot of the Black Lives protesters are trying to be peaceful as possible. And there's all these other different groups who are trying to take the place of the lower police force because of decommissioning or just issues with the police, whether it's black on white, white on black, white on Hispanic, Hispanic on Asian, Asian on white, white on Asian. It don't matter to me anymore. You know why? We're all doing it wrong. You know why we're all doing it wrong? Because we're not being peaceful about it. We're not being calm, cool, collective people. If, like, here, I'm just going to give you a quick example. My neighbor, he's obviously a Trump supporter because he has a Trump 2020 sign on his front porch or front yard. I don't have any political signs on my front yard because, factor, I don't care if you know what my political stance is, whether it's Republican or Democrat. And I know plenty of Republicans who are going blue, voting for Biden. Who I support doesn't matter. It's up to me to make that decision. Why I don't announce it, why I don't flash it, why I don't say anything to whom I'm going to vote for. And some of you already know my stances on political parties. That's none of your business. And it's not my business who you want to vote for either, because that's your choice. I'm not going to try to convince you whom to choose. Do you want to see Trump back in office? Go find a Danny. Vote for him. If you want to see Biden in office, go vote for him. Your choice. Just like it's every individual's choice what they're going to do in their life, whom they're going to follow, whom they're going to listen to. I don't try to denounce anybody. I do not try to get anybody to conform to my ideals. Because my ideals to some people might be like, whoa, that's way out there, Jim. That's just way out there. Yeah. I would love to see utopia. I would love to see a utopian planet. I would love to see our world, not just our nation, but our whole world to be a utopian type society. But you know what? That's not going to happen. You know why? There are people out there who are prone to violence and act upon their violence. I have a violent streak. I have violent tendencies, but you know what? I don't act on them. Why? One, I'd be in prison or dead. Two, it's just wrong. Because of the fact that the person in front of me decides to want to slam on their brakes because of God knows what reason, there's nothing in front of them, and I have to do the same thing, and I get upset about that. Does that mean I should jump out of my car, pull that person out of their car, and beat them in the streets? No. Do I yell about it? Yes. But the thing is, my violence are more verbal than physical because I learned at a young age, physical violence does no good. All it does is hurt you and the person you basically had the violent episode with. Okay? Words, they're exactly that. They're words. The thing is, how true do you want to be to your word? Okay? Yes, there are times where I would love to reach through the TV and smack the crud out of somebody who just doesn't sound right in my brain. But that's me. Am I going to do it? No, I can't. That in factor, what does violence get you? A bad rep? That's kind of what happened with the Vikings. They got a bad rep because of because they were violent. But you got to realize, if you watch the series, The Vikings, you'll see both sides of the main characters. You will see the violence that they do when they go raiding, but when they come home to their families and to the village, there's no violence. It's all about unity. It's all about taking care of each other. It's all about sharing what they got in their raid, protecting each other, caring for each other, the whole 9 yards. Okay? It's happened. Every society, every religious group, every part of history shows various cultures having violent tendencies or violent issues. I mean, look at the Christians. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, no. Look at the Christians before the division of various sects of Christianity. The Jewish people, which basically are the forefathers of Christianity, whether the Jews want to accept this or not, that's their choice. They gave birth to Christ. His parents were Jewish. It was Christ that made Christianity. But look, okay, so let's not look at the Christians. Let's just look at the Jews, right? Let's start with the Jewish people. They had violent tendencies. They were commanded by God to go out and conquer and take the promised land from the Philistines, whom they believe through God were pagan and evil because they did not worship the Jewish God, Yahweh. You can't tell me that in part of the Jewish history they had their fair share of bloodshed. Let's step forward to the Christians. Now, during the time of Christ, there was very little to no bloodshed by the Christian people. But we move forward past the time of Christ because the Bible doesn't say anything about Christ telling the apostles to take something. He did say convert. That does not mean forcibly tell them to change their ways. It was more of a polite suggestion, and here's the reasons why. And they laid out the reasons why by their teachings, by teachings of Christ. So we're going to step past the Jesus era, into after Jesus, after the fall of the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire fell because of their own arrogance, basically. Let's go to the age of the Crusade. The age of the Crusade, which I'm not going to say was started by the Christian church, because I think it was the Holy Roman or the Church of England, which was Catholic. The Catholics started the Crusades to retake the Holy Land from the Arabs, those who basically followed Muhammad. Both sides are in this conflict to try to control the Holy Land. So both the Catholics and the Muslims have blood on their hands from their history. Every religion, every culture and creed has blood on their hands. Now, the reason why I say all Christians, because of the Crusades, have blood on their hands. Does not matter if you're Pentecostal, Baptist, Presbyterian, Catholic, Christian, born again, Church of Christ. I don't really care what label you want to slap on your building. You're part of the Christian history. You have blood on your hands. Okay? Even Tao has blood on their hands. Shinto has blood on their hands. Buddhists have blood on their hands. It's part of our history. The only difference between the factor of what's happening then compared to what's happening now is the factor that we've evolved. We've learned, or I would hope we've learned from the histories. No matter what your origin is, no matter what your ancestry is, your religion, it don't matter. Because in the long run, when we all get judged, it ain't going to matter what our history was. It's going to matter what our heart and our soul and our mind was. If we have a good heart, we're following. Let's say God decides not to judge because of your religion. And I believe that's true. I believe in my heart of hearts, it don't matter what your religion is, what your family background, it don't matter about anything on this earth. It don't matter about anything of the physical plane. It matters about how you lived, what kind of person you were, what was in your heart, what's been in your mind, how well you controlled yourself, how well you treated the other person around you, how well you took care of your family, how well you took care of your neighborhood, how well you served with a servant's heart. That's what he's going to probably judge us on. It don't matter what label you had on your religious book. It won't matter what your family tree looks like. He don't judge a person because of your name. He don't judge you for what you believed in. He judged you for your actions. Were your actions wholesome and good? Now I'm probably going to get yelled at for this whole video, and that's fine. Probably going to lose a couple people. That's fine. Basically, if I lose you, to me, that means you weren't open-minded enough to listen to everything. You focus on the fact that I took a certain step and you didn't like it. That's fine. I have on my desk a lot of things that some people go, yay. You've got your Bible. You've got your Bible notebook. You've got planners. You've got Christian books. But up here on my desk, and this is probably going to stay out because I like the way I decorated my desk. So I probably am not going to change this. People are going to go, but on your desk in plain sight, you have Harry Potter books. You have Twilight books. You have Native American books. You have fantasy books. You have skulls and goblets and crows and jack-o'-lanterns and medieval goblets. And a tapestry depicting a Viking symbol of their, not only just of their mythology, but their religion. I don't know if that is their religion or just a symbol of their mythology. But probably is, because if that is Odin's compass, as some people call it, then yeah, that is a image of their belief system. So judge me for being a D&D fan, a believer in Native American medicine, a reader of fantasy books that has to do with wizardry and magic and vampires and werewolves and having, stuff that's not considered wholesome Christian stuff. You know what? Until you can pull out of whatever hat you think you can pull out of to point out what is considered wholesome and not wholesome, don't judge me. I don't judge you. Of course, you're not showing videos. I don't see videos of your life and whatnot. So just don't be judgmental. Because when you being judgmental towards me is going to weigh against you when you get up there. I know that might sound a little bit on the, what's the word I'm thinking about? Hypocritical. Because yeah, I've judged people in the past. But you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. For every time I've judged somebody in my past, I've judged myself 10 times, if not 100 times worse. I am literally my own worst critic. I am my own worst judge. I literally go to bed and think to myself, did I do something wrong? Did I wrong somebody? Did I say something wrong to somebody? Did I attempt to force somebody to see things my way? Did I argue with my wife about a particular subject that did not need to be argued about? It could be talked about in a civil manner. Those are the things that go through my head at night. Not, did I forget to water the plants? That doesn't go through my head. Did I forget to shut off all the lights? That does go through my head, and I do check them, but not as critical as worrying about wronging somebody in one way or another. Now, I have apologized in a couple of my videos because I did not realize how sensitive some people could be to certain comments, like back in May when I talked about Cinco de Mayo, and I made a comment. Granted, I don't remember right now, but I made a comment that caused an individual or two to feel slighted or basically put down or just basically harmed them in one way or another. And I went, what exactly did I say to cause them to feel as if I was attacking their heritage or their nationality or their holiday or whatnot? I don't remember. And granted, I when I read the comment, I went, "Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll apologize for it because I did not mean to be judgmental or slighting or harmful or anything of that matter." But I get upset not because of the factor of we're recognizing certain holidays. I get upset at the fact that we're not recognizing all the holidays for all the different heritages or nationalities or whatever here in the States. Because if you go over to Europe, for instance, they don't know what Thanksgiving is. They know Christmas, they know Easter, um, they don't know Thanksgiving. They don't really know 4th of July, but they do honor us on 4th of July, especially like the 3 years I was in Germany. They were doing Rhine of Flame, which is basically fireworks on 4th of July. Whether Rhine of Flames was one of their holidays or not, I don't know. I don't remember. But we don't celebrate. We barely started, and some places recognize Leif Erikson Day. Um, we don't celebrate the Australian independence. We don't There's a lot of different countries, a lot of different cultures in our country that we don't celebrate all their holidays. We recognize a lot of holidays for Canada, which some of those holidays also are in your was it Boxing Day, which is also in Australia and the UK. Um, but we don't recognize the Queen's birthday. We, I mean, most of our holidays are either Hispanic or Canadian. And I didn't want to say the country because there's a lot of different Hispanic people from various parts of Latin American territories like Mexico, Venezuela, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, Chile. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I don't remember every country name, but there's African American people or African people who are native from Africa. They moved from Africa here within the last 50 years or so. Um, but there's the holidays from Africa. There's the holidays from most of Europe. Holidays, a lot of holidays from Asia. Um, most of the holidays that we celebrate here in America, except for maybe 4th of July and Thanksgiving, are international holidays. Um, Christmas, Easter, the New Year, the spring is the different equinoxes: spring, winter, summer, and fall. We recognize those, but Guy Fawkes Day, that's an Australian holiday. We don't celebrate that here. Um, Chinese New Year, they do celebrate it in some parts of America because there's a lot of Chinese people in New York, Chicago, and California. Um, do we celebrate any of the Japanese holidays? Not to my knowledge. Um, we say Halloween, but other people say All Saints Day or Day of the Dead. Um, you know, that in fact are a lot of our modern day holidays like Christmas and Halloween. And I don't know, I don't remember if Easter is or not, but Christmas, Halloween are actually originated in pagan beliefs. The Christmas tree, that was a pagan or Norse pagan Yule log. Halloween, Day of the Dead or Night of the Dead, was considered a pagan holiday. It's not exactly Easter, but it's right around the same time was a particular Norse pagan holiday that dealt with spring, fertility, the rebirth, regrowth, that kind of thing. I don't remember the day of the name of it. A lot of our modern day holidays started before Christianity. Catholic Church, because they wanted to convert all the pagans into their holidays and whatnot, made certain arrangements or used certain imagery or days to depict some of the more Christian holidays to help convert the pagans. I know these things because I enjoy studying history, and I enjoy trying to find out where things came from, how it started, when it was started, where it was started. But like I said, I'm probably going to lose a bunch if I haven't already. I'm doing this for more educational purposes, not for religious conversion, because no. I tried that once. I tried to convert myself once. Did not work. I had too many family members who passed away before I started my path on learning different things and deciding if I wanted to be Christian or not, because I had issues with God. But there were others who were like, no, we're going to keep you on the straight and narrow. You can go look, but you're not converting. You can study, but you're not converting. My father. Both sets of grandparents, so that's 5 people right there. Well, Michelle was still alive, but somehow I think she had a hand in it, even before she passed away. Of course, she passed away after I returned to Christianity. But I am a Christian, I will say that. I might claim to be Norseman. I may claim to be part of the Viking heritage, but I'm not in their religious group. I am, no matter what you think, I am based in Christianity. I just like to learn things. I like to know things. I like to teach things. Whether people accept it or not, that's on them. That is a personal choice. Just like who I am and what I do and what I say is kind of a personal choice. I do apologize for being harmful if I say anything that is harmful. But anyhow, this video is basically more of a educational video, not a personal video. I hope you've gotten some knowledge of it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And I hope you basically, if you're curious, there is nothing wrong with curiosity. A lot of people say, oh, curiosity is dangerous. You can get yourself, yeah, you can get yourself in trouble. But the thing is, if your faith is based on stable ground, you learning about other people's faiths or other people's cultures, there's no harm in that. There's no real harm in that. In fact, I think by the fact that Jesus' disciples came from various walks of life goes to show that God is interested in everybody, everything, and wants people to share their knowledge. And that's basically all I do is I try to share my knowledge. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the comment box. I will deal with them in the best manner that I feel is best for myself. So whatever your comments are will be dealt with in one way or another. I won't delete them. I'm no longer deleting people's comments. I'm no longer just saying, oh, I don't like that, throw it away. But I will basically deal with them in a positive light. So go ahead and put your comments. Go ahead and put your questions. I love questions. If you have questions that make me think, if you have questions that make me do more research or try to pull up some of my old research, if I can find it. I might not have it in paper, but I can find it online. Do that. I mean, I love people asking me questions that make me go, how do I answer that, and where can I find answers for that? So please go ahead and put comments. If you're new to my channel and you want to see more, hear more, or go back and watch some of my older videos, click that bell. YouTube will let you know when I put in a new video. Until next time, God bless. Have a good day. Bye.